Have you ever noticed that two people can experience the exact same event, yet one sees it as a complete disaster while the other sees it as a golden opportunity? There is a fundamental law of human experience that most people completely ignore. We do unsee the world as it is. We see the world as we are. Your mind isn't a passive window you look through. It's an active projector. And if the lens of that projector is coated in the dust of negativity, fear, and self-doubt, then every single opportunity that comes your way is going to look like a threat. Every open door will seem like a trap waiting to spring. But here's the secret. When you finally learn to master the power of a positive mind, you're not just thinking happy thoughts. That's a huge misconception. You are performing a kind of mental alchemy. You are literally transmuting the lead of your daily struggles, your setbacks, and your heartbreaks into the pure gold of your future destiny. You're changing the very fabric of your reality from the inside out. Let me tell you a story. Back in the late 19th century, in the bustling heart of London, there was a man who lost everything. His factory, his life's work, all his blueprints. Gone, turned to nothing but ash in a single, devastating night. As he stood there, amidst the smoldering ruins of his dream, his neighbors gathered. They expected to see a broken man. They expected tears, despair, the crushing weight of tragedy. But that's not what happened. Instead, he turned to his young son and said, "Go find your mother and all her friends. Tell them to come quickly. They will never see a fire this big again." Now, he wasn't being delusional. He wasn't ignoring the loss. He was choosing his response. Understood in that critical moment that the fire hadn't just destroyed his factory. It had also burned away all his old mistakes. He chose to see that field of ash not as an ending, but as a perfectly clean slate. And just 2 years later, from those very ashes, he had built a bigger, better, and more successful empire. Why? Because he refused to let his external circumstances dictate his internal environment. He was the master of his own mind. This is the sovereign power that lies within each of us. In our modern world, especially in places like the United States, the United Kingdom, we're constantly told to be realistic. But let's be honest, realism is often just a sophisticated, socially acceptable word for pessimism. If you're only realistic, you only accept what is currently visible, what is already possible. But if you're a visionary, you use the incredible power of your mind to see what is not yet there. You see the potential, not just the problem. Positive thinking isn't about wearing rose-colored glasses. It's the high-octane fuel for that vision. It is the mental stamina you need to stay in the game when the scoreboard says you're losing badly. It's the resilience to look at a rejection letter and see it not as a failure, but as a redirection towards something even better. It is the wisdom to look at a closed door and realize it was locked for your protection, guiding you to find a better, more creative way in. So how does this actually work on a biological level? Your brain has this incredible built-in filter called the reticular activating system, or RAS. Think of it as the gatekeeper of your consciousness. It decides what information gets your attention. If you constantly tell yourself that life is hard, that people are untrustworthy, and that opportunities are scarce, your RAS will diligently go to work. It will filter out all the beauty, all the kindness, all the opportunities around you, and it will only show you evidence that supports your negative belief system. You could literally walk right past $1 million idea because your mind simply was unprogrammed to look for it. But the magic happens when you consciously decide to program your mind for positivity, for growth, for solutions. Your reticular activating system begins to highlight the answers that were hidden in plain sight all along. You start noticing the right people, the right resources, the right moments. You begin to see connections where others only see chaos. You start to find reserves of strength where others only find exhaustion. You're not changing the world. You're changing the filter through which you see it. And let me be crystal clear. The positive mind is not a weak mind. In fact, it's the strongest mind in any room. It is incredibly easy to be negative. It takes zero effort to complain. It is effortless to join the chorus of voices talking about how bad the economy is, or how difficult the world has become. Anyone can do that, but to remain optimistic in the face of defeat, to choose kindness in the face of cruelty, to stay laser-focused in a world full of distractions, that requires the heart of a lion. It demands a level of internal discipline that most people will never cultivate. You aren't just being positive for the sake of a smile. You are being positive because it is the single most effective strategy for survival, growth, and ultimate success. Imagine your mind as a ship navigating the vast ocean of life. The waves of the world will always be there. You can count on it. There will be storms of financial stress, gale force winds of social pressure, and the deep, pulling tides of personal loss. Here's the key. You cannot control the ocean, but as the captain of your ship, you have absolute, unquestionable control over one thing: the rudder. A positive, focused mind is a rudder that stays locked on your destination, regardless of the weather. If you let the waves of negativity and fear dictate your direction, you will inevitably crash against the sharp rocks of regret. But if you keep your mind fixed on your purpose, that very same wind that tried to push you off course can become the force that propels you toward your goal. In today's world, the noise is louder than it has ever been. There are more voices, more opinions, more notifications telling you that you can't do it, that you're not good enough, that it's impossible. Because of this, you must become your own loudest supporter. You have to speak to yourself with more authority and conviction than the world speaks to you. When the world tells you it's over, your mind must roar back: we are just getting started. When the world says you're not enough, your mind must calmly reply: I am becoming more every single day. This is the real alchemy. This is how you build a life that might look like a dream to others, but to you, it feels like a masterpiece you've carefully and deliberately created. So, from this moment forward, make a commitment. Keep your lens clean, keep your vision sharp, and never, ever forget that the light you carry inside of you is infinitely more powerful than any darkness the world can throw at you. You are the architect. You are the builder. You are the master of your own world, seen and unseen. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more content to help you build your best life. What if I told you the single most powerful tool you own isn't your phone, your car, or your bank account? It's your brain. But here's the catch. Your brain isn't designed to find the truth. It's designed to prove you right. This is the most profound realization you can have in this lifetime. Your brain is a highly efficient, evidence-gathering machine. Think about it. If you wake up and the first thought you have is, today is going to be a struggle, your mind gets to work immediately. It scans your entire day for proof. It'll highlight the red light that makes you late for your meeting. It will zero in on the lukewarm coffee that ruins your morning ritual. It'll feel the sting when a coworker walks past without saying hello. By the time you get home, you'll have a mountain of evidence, a detailed case file, proving that life is against you. You were right all along. But what if you could flip the script? The most successful people, the elite thinkers, understand this principle deeply. They call it the law of selective evidence. They don't let their circumstances dictate their beliefs. They consciously decide what they want to be right about. They wake up and choose their own truth. When you decide, reality decide, you are a person of immense value, that you are surrounded by opportunity, and that you are destined for something great. Your brain starts filtering your reality through a completely new lens. The world around you doesn't change, but your perception of it does. Suddenly, a mistake isn't a crushing failure. It's a critical lesson, a piece of data for your next attempt. A rejection isn't a solid wall blocking your path. It's a gentle redirection, guiding you towards something even better. You start to see hidden possibilities and open doors in the very same environment where others only see obstacles and dead ends. This isn't some kind of abstract magic. It's the biological reprogramming of your focus. We're living in a world that often encourages a victim mentality. It's easy to become an expert at finding reasons why you can't succeed. People blame the economy. They blame their upbringing. They blame the system. And while those challenges can be very real, the sovereign mind understands a fundamental truth. You cannot control the wind, but you are the only one who can set the sails of your ship. Let's talk about the compound interest of the soul. In the financial world, we all know the power of compounding. Small amounts of money, invested consistently over time, can grow into massive wealth. Your thoughts work in exactly the same way. One single positive thought won't magically change your life overnight. One day of discipline won't suddenly make you successful. But a year of consistently choosing optimism over cynicism. A year of choosing decisive action over crippling anxiety. A year of choosing unshakable faith over paralyzing fear. That creates a mental momentum that becomes utterly unstoppable. The tragedy is that most people quit during what I call the silent phase of compounding. They put in the work for a week, a month, maybe even 2, and they don't see the dramatic results they were promised. So they stop. They give up. They don't realize they were just inches away from the breakthrough, right on the verge of their efforts compounding into something incredible. This is why you must learn to trust the process more than you trust your feelings. Your feelings are the most unreliable narrators of your reality. They're fleeting, hormonal, and often based on outdated programming. Your feelings will tell you that you're exhausted when you're really just bored and uninspired. Your feelings will scream that you're finished, that you've hit your limit, when research shows you've likely only used 40% of your true capacity. To cultivate a positive mind in a world that often feels relentlessly negative, you have to become a warrior of your own internal dialogue. You must learn to speak to your soul with a voice that is louder, clearer, and more compelling than the constant whispers of your insecurity. You are not a passive spectator watching the movie of your life unfold. You are the lead actor, you are the scriptwriter, and you are the director. If the current scene is filled with shadows and darkness, it's only because you haven't decided to turn on the light yet. We are obsessed with the idea of the overnight success. We see the person on the stage, holding the award, and we think it happened in an instant. We are completely blind to the reality of their journey. We don't see the 5 years they spent in near poverty, sacrificing everything for their dream. We don't see the thousands of hours they spent studying, practicing, and honing their craft while others were relaxing. Most importantly, we won't see the brutal mental battles they had to win every single morning before they ever stepped out of bed. The real alchemy, the real transformation, happens when you start winning those internal battles. It's about making a conscious decision that your vision for the future is more real and more powerful than your memory of the past. Your past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. You visit it for data, but you don't live there. You are not your mistakes. You are not your trauma. You are the person who survived those things. And that survival, that resilience, makes you incredibly dangerous to the status quo. Let's be honest. The world in many ways needs you to stay small. It benefits when you're just a consumer, distracted and docile. It prefers you to be afraid, because people who are afraid are much easier to manage and control. But when you reclaim the sovereign power of your mind, when you start directing your own thoughts and choosing your own evidence, you become unmanageable. You stop being a pawn and you start becoming a player. You become a force of nature. So, the next time you look in the mirror, I want you to try something different. Stop searching for flaws. Stop cataloging the things you think are wrong. Instead, I want you to look for the fire. Look for that spark in your eyes. That fire is your potential. It is the brilliant light that has been waiting patiently for you to stop covering it with a heavy blanket of so-called realism. That's your mission. Remove the blanket. Let the fire breathe. Let it burn away all the doubts, all the fears, and everything that isn't the real you. The world is desperately waiting for your light, but you have to be the first one to believe it's there. The power has been inside you all along. It's time to turn it on. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, you know what to do. Follow for more, and let's keep building together. Have you ever felt like you're fighting a battle that no one else can see? A battle not against the world, but against the person staring back at you in the mirror. Today, we're going to talk about winning that battle. About mastering the single most powerful tool you will ever possess. Your own. It's time to unlock the alchemy of your inner lens. You need to understand a fundamental law of the universe. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. There is a specific frequency to victory, a vibration that is set long before the trophy is ever lifted. So many of us wait for success to feel successful. We wait for the money to feel abundant. We wait for the love to feel worthy. But that's getting it all backward. The universe is a mirror, not a window. It reflects your internal state directly back at you. If you are constantly broadcasting a frequency of lacking and needing, you will only attract more situations that reinforce that feeling. To change your life, you must first change your broadcast. You must find the feeling of victory while you are still deep in the struggle. You have to feel the warmth of the sun before the dawn breaks. This isn't just positive thinking. It's a strategic calibration of your entire being. Look at the highest performers in the world. In the high-pressure arenas of New York's financial district or London's Canary Wharf, the people at the absolute top aren't always the ones with the most raw talent. They are the ones who have developed an impenetrable immunity to the external world. They have built a mental fortress that criticism, failure, and chaos cannot breach. This is what it means to possess a sovereign mind. It means that if the market crashes, you don't crash with it. If people criticize you, you don't shrink and hide. If you lose a major deal, you don't lose your sense of self. You have made a conscious decision that your peace of mind is a non-negotiable asset. You have finally realized that the only person who can truly ruin your day is yourself. When you stop giving other people the remote control to your emotions, you instantly become the most powerful person in any room you walk into. Your stability becomes your superpower. Let's re-examine the concept of a second wind. We often think of it as a purely physical phenomenon, that sudden burst of energy when you thought you had nothing left. But it's not. A second wind is a mental breakthrough. It is the precise moment when your mind decides that the pain is no longer a threat. It's the moment you stop running from the discomfort and instead turn to face it. When your mind makes that shift, your body has no choice but to follow. The alchemy of the inner lens allows you to look at pain and see it not as a stop sign, but as data. It allows you to look at fatigue and see it not as a weakness, but as proof of your relentless effort. We live in an age that worships comfort. We have apps for everything. Climate-controlled rooms, and instant entertainment at our fingertips. But greatness is never, ever found in the comfort zone. Greatness is forged in friction. It's discovered in those gut-wrenching moments when everything in you wants to look away, but you choose to stare deeper into the heart of the challenge. Your positive mind must become a weapon of precision. This isn't about ignoring the negative or pretending problems don't exist. It's about outgrowing them. Think of a mountain during a storm. The mountain doesn't ignore the wind and rain. It simply stands so tall and is rooted so deeply that the storm cannot move it. You must become that mountain. You must develop a perspective so elevated that the small, petty dramas of daily life look like ants from where you stand. When you're flying at 30,000 feet, you can't see the traffic jams or hear the noise of the city below. That's how you must view your obstacles. When you are relentlessly focused on your legacy, on your why, on your long-term vision. The temporary setbacks of today lose their power to hurt you. They become nothing more than minor turbulence on your flight to greatness. The world is an incredibly noisy place, filled with fear, doubt, and negativity. But your internal sanctuary must remain silent, focused, and secure. It's time to stop participating in the recession of the spirit. Just because everyone else is worried doesn't mean you have to be. Just because the herd is complaining doesn't mean you have to join the chorus. You are reading from a different script. You are building a different reality. The people who truly changed the world have always been the ones who were delusional enough to believe they could, while everyone else was being realistic enough to tell them why they couldn't. Choose your delusion. Choose to believe in the impossible. That belief is the fuel that will power you through the darkest nights. Every single word you speak to yourself is a brick. With these bricks, you are building the architecture of your future. The question is, are you building a prison of limitation or a palace of possibility? Are your self-talk and your inner monologue filled with words of restriction or words of liberation? All around us, in the UK, in the USA, and across the globe, we see a massive rise in burnout, anxiety, and stress. This isn't because people are working too hard. It's because they are working without a clear and compelling vision. They've lost their why. Hard work without a positive mind is just slavery. But hard work, powered by a positive mind, is a mission. It's a calling. So I challenge you today. Turn your job into a mission. Turn your struggle into an epic story of triumph. Turn your life into a masterpiece that people will study for generations to come. You have the lens, you have the light. Now, go out there and show the world what you see. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more content to help you build your masterpiece. There is a hidden law that governs the final moments of every great achievement, and it is called the law of the final inch. In the United Kingdom and the United States, we are taught to focus on the big picture, the grand opening, and the massive celebration. But the winners, the true architects of the unseen, know that the entire universe is one or lost in the final inch of the struggle. It is that last bit of effort when your lungs are screaming, your mind is failing, and your spirit is exhausted. Most people stop at 99%. They do the work, they put in the time, but they quit right before the miracle happens. They walk away from the door just as the key was turning in the lock. To have an elite positive mind in 2026, you must become a master of the finish. You must realize that the pain you feel at the end of a project, a year, or a struggle is not a sign to stop. It is the sign that the transformation is almost complete. Think of a piece of iron being forged into a sword. It has to go through the fire. It has to be beaten by the hammer, and it has to be plunged into cold water. If the iron could speak, it would scream that it has had enough. It would say that the fire is too hot and the hammer is too heavy. But if the blacksmith stops before the final strike, the iron is useless. It is neither a raw material nor a finished tool. It is stuck in the middle. Many of you are stuck in the middle. You have been through the fire, but you are trying to escape the hammer. You must stay on the anvil until the work is done. The alchemy of the inner lens is about seeing the hammer as a friend. It is about understanding that the pressure you are under right now is not there to break you, but to shape you into something that can handle the weight of your dreams. In the modern Western world, we have become soft. We want the prize without the process. We want the authority without the hidden years of submission and learning. But you cannot bypass the laws of growth. You cannot have the harvest of the 10th year in the spring of the first year. You must learn to fall in love with the unseen hours. You must learn to find joy in the grind, in the repetition, and in the silence of the dark room where no one is watching. Your mind is the only thing you truly own. Your money can be taken, your status can change, and your physical strength will eventually fade. But the character you build in the final inch, the resilience you forge when things are falling apart, is yours forever. It is the only thing you take with you into every new room you enter. When you walk into a room with a sovereign mind, people can feel it. They don't need to see your bank account to know you are wealthy. They don't need to see your resume to know you are a leader. They can see it in your eyes. They can see it in the way you carry yourself. You are no longer looking for validation from the world, because you have already validated yourself in the fire. Let this be the day you stop negotiating with your goals. Stop asking yourself if you feel like doing it. Stop asking if it's fair. Stop asking if it's ever going to pay off. The answer is yes. It will pay off, but only if you don't quit. The world is full of talented failures who gave up in the final inch. It is full of geniuses who are realistic right before the breakthrough. Do not be one of them. Be the person who stays. Be the person who works when the lights are off. Be the person who smiles when the wind is blowing against them. The legacy of the invisible is the most powerful legacy of all. It is the work you do when you think no one is looking that eventually changes everything. Every positive thought you choose over a negative one is a seed planted in the garden of your future. Every time you get back up after being knocked down, you are writing a sentence in a book that will inspire millions. You are not just building a career, you are building a temple of human possibility. You are showing everyone around you what is possible when a human being refuses to be a victim. As you move forward into the rest of 2026, keep your lens clean. Keep your vision high. Remember that you are the captain, the architect, and the king. The world will try to pull you down to its level of noise and chaos. Do not go. Stay in your high frequency. Stay in your power. The final inch is where the gods are made. Walk that inch with pride. Walk that inch with faith. And when you finally cross the finish line, don't be surprised when the world calls you an overnight success. Just smile, knowing the years of architecture that went into the unseen. Have you ever noticed how we glorify the hustle, the grind, the big, explosive moments of success, but we rarely talk about what happens in between? We don't talk about the quiet days, the slow growth, the maintenance of the spirit. The real test of a positive mind isn't how you handle failure. It's how you handle those long stretches of building when nothing seems to be happening. Once you've sparked that initial fire of ambition, you have to become the one who keeps it burning, especially when the wood is damp and the air is cold. This alchemy, this transformation of your inner world, isn't a one-time trick. It's a daily ritual. It is waking up every single morning and consciously deciding to see the world through the eyes of a victor, not a victim. Because if you don't choose your perspective, the world will choose one for you, and its default setting is usually scarcity, competition, and fear. Think about the magnificent architecture of a great cathedral. We all admire the spires that touch the sky, the stained glass windows catching the light, but what holds it all up? The foundation stones, buried deep in the ground. They never see the sun. No one ever compliments them or takes their picture. Yet, if those stones crack, the entire structure collapses. Your character, your integrity, your mindset, those are your foundation stones. Your public success, the fame, the money, the recognition, that's just the spire at the top. So many people today are trying to build that spire on top of sand. They chase the rewards before they've built the internal strength to carry the weight of it. This is why so much success feels fleeting. It's often built on a negative foundation of, I'll prove them wrong, instead of a positive foundation of, I will build something right. One is about revenge, the other is about creation. Which one do you think lasts? When your mind is truly positive, something incredible happens. You stop competing with other people and you start competing with your own potential. Competition is for people who believe success is a limited resource, like a pie with only so many slices. But a sovereign, positive mind knows that success is an infinite resource. It's like a candle's flame. One candle can light 1,000 others without diminishing its own light. In fact, it makes the whole room brighter. When you see someone else win, your first instinct should be celebration, not envy. Their victory is proof that the laws of success are real and working. If they can do it, you can do Italiano. Their light doesn't make your world darker. It shows you where the door is. We are so often caught in the comparison trap, constantly measuring our progress against others. You have to be the antidote. You have to become so secure in your own foundation, so confident in your own architecture, that the success of others only adds to your inspiration. Now let us talk about those moments when you feel like you're standing on the edge of a cliff. You know where you want to go, you can see the other side, but there's a massive chasm in between. You can't see a path. The gap looks too wide. The drop looks too deep. This is where the positive mind becomes your greatest asset. It becomes an invisible bridge. It's the unwavering belief that if you take that first step into the void, the ground will rise to meet your feet. This isn't blind faith. It's a deep understanding of momentum. When you move with total conviction, you trigger a chain reaction. Your energy shifts. People start to notice. Opportunities that were hidden suddenly gravitate towards your frequency. Resources you didn't know existed become available. But here is the secret. The bridge only appears for the person who is brave enough to take that first step off the solid ground. You have to be willing to leap. This ability to see the bridge before it exists. To feel the warmth of the sun, while you're still in a blizzard, that is the true alchemy of the inner lens. In our modern world, we have more information than any generation in history, but we arguably have less wisdom. Wisdom is taking all that information and applying it through the filter of a positive, powerful mind. It's knowing that even if your bank account is low, your personal value is high. It's knowing that even if your body is tired, your purpose is energized. You must protect this wisdom with everything you have. Don't let small-minded people talk you out of your big-minded dreams. They aren't trying to protect you from failure. They are trying to protect themselves from the discomfort of seeing you succeed while they remain stagnant. Your vision makes them feel their own lack of it. Ultimately, the echo of your character will be heard long after your words are forgotten. People will forget what you said. They might even forget what you did, but they will never, ever forget how you made them feel. A positive mind creates a positive ripple effect. When you walk into a room with clarity, kindness, and conviction, you give everyone else in that room unspoken permission to do the same. You become a leader without ever needing a title. This is the ultimate goal. To be so rooted in your own light that you become a lighthouse for others. You're not just building a life for yourself. You're creating a culture around you. You're setting a new standard for what it means to be a conscious, powerful, and positive human being in this age. So please, don't be afraid of the time it takes. The most beautiful, enduring things in this world are the ones that took the longest to create. A diamond is forged over millions of years under immense pressure. The Grand Canyon was carved over millennia by a persistent river. Your legacy is no different. Every single day that you choose to be positive, every day you choose discipline over distraction, every day you choose to see the unseen opportunity, you are adding another layer of strength to your masterpiece. So keep your lens clean, keep your heart open, and keep your feet moving, one step at a time. The architecture of your life is almost complete. And trust me, the view from the top is going to be magnificent. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content to help you build your best life. The final stage of mastering the alchemy of the inner lens is realizing that there is no finish line. In the cultures of the West, we are taught to think in terms of seasons, quarters, and fiscal years. We are taught to look for the end of the struggle. But the sovereign mind understands that life is an infinite game. You don't play to win, you play to keep playing. You don't master your mind so you can stop working. You master your mind so you can work at a higher level of consciousness. The architecture you have been building is not a prison to keep you safe. It is a platform to launch you into the next dimension of your potential. When you realize that the journey itself is the reward, the pressure to arrive disappears, and it is replaced by a profound, unshakable peace. This peace is your greatest weapon in 2026. While the rest of the world is panicked by change, you are centered. While others are chasing the next shortcut to success, you are deepening your roots. You have moved beyond the need for external validation because you have discovered the eternal lens. This lens doesn't look at the temporary fluctuations of the stock market or the social media feed. It looks at the timeless principles of human character. It looks at integrity. It looks at courage. And it looks at the quiet dignity of a person who knows who they are. When you look through the eternal lens, you realize that nothing that happens outside of you can ever diminish the light inside of you. You are the source. You are the generator. You are the sun. Think of the great masters of history, the thinkers, the builders, and the dreamers who shaped the United Kingdom and the United States. They were not focused on the applause of their contemporaries. They were focused on the judgment of the future. They were playing the long game. They knew that their positive mindset was not just for their own comfort, but for the elevation of the world. You carry that same responsibility. Every time you choose to find the good in a bad situation, you are contributing to the collective strength of humanity. You are showing the person next to you that it is possible to be broken and still be beautiful. You are showing them that it is possible to fail and still be a success. The world will try to pull you back into the finite game. It will try to make you worry about your age, your status, and your bank account. It will try to make you feel like you are running out of time. But the positive mind knows that time is an illusion created by those who are afraid of the dark. You are not running out of time. You are running into your destiny. Every moment is a new beginning. Every breath is a fresh start. The alchemy is always happening. Even as you listen to these words, your cells are regenerating, your neurons are firing, and your spirit is expanding. You are a work in progress that is already a masterpiece. As we close this chapter of the architecture, remember the fire. Remember the anvil. Remember the final inch. And most importantly, remember the lens. You hold the power to color your world. You can paint it with the gray of despair, or you can illuminate it with the gold of hope. The choice is yours, and you must make it every single hour of every single day. Do not settle for a life that is realistic. Do not settle for a mind that is a slave to its environment. Be the architect. Be the alchemist. Be the light. The echo of your life is starting to move out into the world. It is touching people you haven't met. It is influencing situations you haven't seen. This is the power of a mind that has been reclaimed. You are no longer a victim of the noise. You are the creator of the music. Go out and play your symphony. Go out and build your cathedral. Go out and live a life that is so vibrant and so positive that the world has no choice but to stop and wonder how you did it. And when they ask you for your secret, who's to tell them I stopped looking at the world and I started looking at the lens. Now, we have reached the final threshold. We have discussed the architecture, the unseen roots, the alchemy of the lens, and the law of the final inch. But words, no matter how powerful, are only shadows of the truth. The truth is not found in listening. The truth is found in doing. As this video ends and the screen goes dark, the responsibility shifts from the speaker to the listener. The script is finished, but your story is just beginning. You are now standing at the edge of the dark room, and you have a choice. You can go back to the world of noise, distraction, and reaction, or you can step into the world of the sovereign mind and begin to build. In the United Kingdom, in the United States, and in every corner of this planet, the world does not need more followers of trends. It needs more masters of self. It needs people who can look at a broken world and see a masterpiece waiting to be assembled. It needs you to be the best version of yourself, not for your own sake, but for the sake of everyone who will ever cross your path. Your positivity is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Your discipline is not a burden, it is your freedom. Your vision is not a fantasy, it is the blueprint of your future. Take one final look at the life you are leaving behind. Thank it for the lessons, thank it for the pain, and thank it for the strength it gave you. Then, turn your back on it. Do not look back. The person you were 10 minutes ago is already a memory. The person you are becoming is a legend in the making. The path is long, and the climb is steep, but the air is purer at the top. The light is in your hands. The lens is in your mind. The hammer is in your heart. Go out and build a life that is so beautiful, so powerful, and so full of light that it echoes in the hearts of others long after you are gone. This is the end of the video, but it is the beginning of your empire. The architecture is complete. The foundation is set. Now, it is time to rise. Farewell, architect. We will see you at the summit. Your time is coming. Keep believing. Keep fighting. Don't just watch. Go out and prove them wrong. Thank you for being part of the journey. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.